Hello, everybody. Hello, my dear students, and welcome to Object-Oriented Programming with C++, Lesson 2. We are going to start practicing, and please don't forget, share your video with your friends, put some likes, subscribe for my channel. It would help. It would help me a lot to reach a wider audience. Anyway, lesson 2, object-oriented programming without C++. So we're trying to use just traditional C, and this lesson illustrates that OOP concepts are wider than any particular language. And you can or you may implement OOP concepts even using languages that don't have OOP features. For example, in C, a structure is a predecessor. It's a very similar to object, very similar to class. And what you see in lines 4 to 8 is a structure. We call it rectangle. It's basically a new type of data. It has 3 members, width, height, and outline. So technically speaking, I'm creating a class, rectangle class using C. I provide some behavior for my class, some functions. You see them: build, grow, shrink, draw top, draw middle, draw bottom. So that's the class, the combination of data, properties, and functions. Class is divided into files. So first file is a header file. That's what you see. That's basically all the declarations. But also we have rectangle.c, source file where all the functions are implemented. So we implement a class in 2 files, and we are going to do the same in C++. Now, what's the difference between a class and an object? Class is just an idea, a template, declaration, your plans. But object is a real variable created based on that template. So later on I may start creating objects. You will see them. Right now we are just looking at the class definition and class functions. So always, please, when you discuss or when you learn object-oriented programming, keep in mind there are 2 different perspectives you can look at OOP. One perspective is developer. It's the programmer who creates classes. A second perspective is a user. It's also a programmer, but this guy going to just create objects. We call it, by the way, instantiation. So it's different, very different points of use. Of course, sometimes developer of the class may be the user of the class, but I would say in real life it's separated. Some programmers develop classes, other programmers just use them. So let's go step by step. So my rectangle has a width, a height, character to draw the outline, and has some functions. We may call this data members, and we may call this member functions. Pay attention, the function's supposed to know which rectangle to operate. So that's why you see the first parameter for all the member functions is the address of the rectangle structure. That's the connection between data and code. Any function receives the rectangle address. Let's take a look at the implementation. I created a function, it's called build. Later on, we are going to see it's a constructor. What constructor does, it prepares an object. It initializes all the data members. So all the three data members are initialized inside build function. Grow function just increases both width and height, lines 10 to 13. Shrink function does the opposite, lines 15 to 18. And finally, draw function draws the rectangle on the console. In order to make it clearer, I divided the task, so I created three separate functions. One does the top line of the rectangle, a second function does the middle part of the rectangle, and the third function does the bottom line of the rectangle. You can take a look. They're pretty simple. And of course, they need the rectangle address to properly do their tasks. Draw bottom, by the way, function absolutely identical to draw top. And what it does, it just calls draw top. So I did my class declaration in the header file. I did my functions implementations in the C file. So I have rectangle.h file and rectangle.c file. Now it's time to instantiate. It's time to create objects. So this is class, but this is object. I create two rectangles, R1, R2. Line 7 initializes my first rectangle, so it's 3 by 3, outline character asterisk. Then I draw line 8, then I grow line 9, and draw again, just to demonstrate that grow functions is working properly. Line 11, I prepare a second rectangle. It's now 5 by 6, outline character a dot. I draw it, line 12, I shrink now, line 13, and I draw it again, line 14. Let's try it. I go to my console. Of course, I need a small batch file in order to avoid typing the same command. So this is my batch file name. I call it do it. And you see the command line gcc dash wall. That means all the warnings are allowed and two source files are compiled. You don't have to mention in your command line the header file. If you don't provide a name for the executable, by default it's A. So let's run it. And let's close the antivirus, and you see everything is working as it's supposed to. You see the 3 by 3 rectangle, You see 4x4 rectangle after grow function was applied. You see then 5x6 done with the dots, and you see then 4x5 done with the dots after shrinking. So congrats, we did our first class. We tried to instantiate, to create objects based on the class definition. And next lesson we are going to do similar task, but now using C++. C++ has built-in object-oriented features, and it's easier to create objects and classes in C++ comparing to traditional C. Thank you very much for watching. All the best to you, and see you soon, guys. Bye-bye.